Asian financial crisis in 1997 is a big deal. The Malaysian ringgit came under severe pressure from speculative attack. Malaysia has been hit hard by the after effects of it. The Central Bank of Malaysia, BNM's immediate response was to intervene in the foreign exchange market to uphold the value of the ringgit. The crisis has caused the policymakers to come up with the new policies to cope with the new disruption towards housing economics, which we will further discuss within this video. The initiative to introduce a new social housing concept requires the government to study on the capabilities of their management and capital to deliver maximum quality of services. The initiation of shared ownership involves key players with different interests, thus to make all of them to submit into one goal is a bit tricky. The private developers will only on board with the plan to build social housing if government offers good incentives. The financial institutions will still require the house buyer to have a good financial record to acquire loan. State authority also needs to improvise their data hub on the registration of title. Problem statements have been divided into 4 aspects. First, the public's financial competency. Buyer and renter might not be eligible financially in terms of creditworthiness and capabilities for monthly payment. Second, house buyer and renter may have limited knowledge upon shared ownership concept in property ownership. Third, house buyer and renters' trust in government has gradually decreased due to failure of government to segregate the house market according to the income group. House buyer and renter becoming skeptic with government's competencies in sorting the appropriate policy for affordable housing schemes for low and middle class income. It is confirmed by the Khazanah Research Institute KRI's report in 2015 that the housing market in Malaysia is in the range of serious and affordable. What is shared ownership? Shared ownership is a social housing. It is for people who find it difficult to save for a deposit or who can't afford a full mortgage. In a nutshell, we buy a place together. You pay the mortgage on your bit and pay us rent on ours. You can own between 50% and 90% of the property. The monthly cost of living in your home may be less than that of a full mortgage or a private rental. And you are a homeowner with the space to plan for the future. When you're able to, you can increase your share bit by bit until you own it all. The process is easy and affordable. We often share many things like food, drink, clothes, car and facilities due to limitation in resources. If you think car sharing and time sharing for vacation house is profound, you will be blown away by this news. Now, we can share our house. Yes, these are the variety of shared ownership terminology and branding throughout the world. We have Malaysia, United Kingdom, Lithuania, Poland, Italy, Portugal, the Netherlands, Western Australia, Pakistan, and Northern Ireland. It is also interesting to learn how these variety programs of shared ownership concept in each countries works. The Help to Buy scheme is in England, UK. Kickstart Home Loans is by Western Australia. House Key and Prima Rent to Own is from Malaysia. And Co-Ownership is a program by Northern Ireland. For this study, a single research approach has been used. It involves quantitative data only. Likert scale has been applied in the developed questionnaires. The questionnaire consists of closed-ended questions. The collected statistical coding from the questionnaires has been analyzed by using SPSS software. This software shall project a visual aids to represent the analyzed data. From the software, frequency analysis and Cronbach's alpha reliability analysis were generated. According to Zainal Matsaat, 2018, the methods that were being applied in the study is through communication and observation method. For the sampling method, non-probability sampling was used, the judgmental sampling. The respondents was given questionnaire and was required to respond face-to-face within online and by appointment for primary data source. As for observation and intensive review on the secondary sources, this approach of data collection took a total of 7 days starting from 18th until 24th of March 2020. The questionnaire is specifically being spread out to employed individuals, but there were respondents who were not belonging to the employed individual category. The difficulties experienced in collecting data was utilizing a virtual application of Google Form to distribute questionnaire survey instead of spreading a printed physical questionnaires. This procedure was due to the implementation of 2020 Movement Control Order MCO by Malaysian government to prevent the progress of COVID-19 pandemic. Thus, unable to give a comprehensive explanation on the topic, and the respondents might not have given out the best response due to the absence of direct two-way communication without limitation. The survey response rate is 100%. The Cronbach's Alpha Reliability Test result for section B and C are both acceptable. And here you can see the respondents' perspectives on shared ownership concept. 77.1% have indeed heard about the concept, 89.4% is accepting the concept to be applied in Malaysia, and 79.4% thinks that the first-time house buyer will be eyeing for this scheme. Moving on to the measurement of acceptance towards shared ownership concept. Cut to the chase. Respondent has accepted the following characteristics. First, low deposit requirement to own a shared unit. 2. Owning of property through buying shares. 3. Owning property through paying rent and mortgage simultaneously. 4. Owning property with low monthly commitment. 5. Buying with locked current price now to maintain the sale price for later purchase. 6. Buying unit that partly owned by housing association. 7. Shared unit is exclusive for low income earner. And lastly, 8. Shared unit is not for investment. Now, I will elaborate on how this research able to connect the findings with research objectives, subsequently announcing that this research is a success. What do we know from this research? This study is able to identify the concept of shared ownership application into real estate. Hence, research objective 1 has been successfully achieved. In the following table are the numerous shared ownership models that have been applied into real estate based on its country. This study helping us to determine the acceptance of public in the concept of shared ownership as a tool to aid house affordability in Malaysia. Thus, research objective 2 has also been achieved. The majority fraction of the respondents have heard of the shared ownership housing scheme in their previous life events. It is not surprising to learn that most of respondents stumble upon this property scheme through a social media platform, as developer and estate agent are benefiting social media as a vital advertisement grounds. The statistical graphic shows that the majority of respondents accept on the idea of shared ownership implementation onto real estate in Malaysia. The respondents proceed by agreeing that first-time house buyers shall be highly invested and interested with the idea of owning a shared ownership property scheme. From Part B alone, it is comprehensible that shared ownership concept is not an inexplicable property scheme. The public shall welcome the introduction and development of the concept to be widened into more states in the future. That being said, it is fair to state that the Malaysian public has accepted the concept of shared ownership as a tool to aid housing affordability. Objective 2 is further supported by the acceptance of public on the characteristics of the scheme in Part C, measurement of acceptance towards shared ownership concept. By accepting these features of the property product, presumably, author able to construct a conclusion, whereas Malaysian public has also accepted the structure and framework of shared ownership. All in all, 71.1% of the respondents agreeing on the 9 having the intention to buy shared ownership scheme in their lifetime.